Zonkatron here. My name is Pedro Flores, but I call myself Zonkatron. Oh, there is a chat room here. Okay, I call myself Zonkatron so that people can easily find me, just as brand name. And today we're gonna explain the connection exercise, how to connect to God. Now, it sounds like a religious exercise at first when I say how to connect to God. It's not religious, it's spiritual. What does spiritual mean? Spiritual means you do it your own way. It's not connected to any religious beliefs. Doesn't matter what you believe in. I'm giving you something universal here. Something that you could use even if you believe that God is a cow, for example. Let's say. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what you believe. All right, God will connect to you. What is God? Whatever you believe or you imagine is out there taking care of you from a higher level. All right, that's God. If you want to call it Jesus, call it Jesus. It has nothing to do with the name. You can give it a name that resonates with you, that makes you feel like if your language is different and then the word of God or the name of God is totally different in your language, call it in your language. It doesn't help to just call it something that you don't relate to. You have to relate to, okay? So anyone here wants to ask any questions so far? Not about your life, about the connection exercise, all right? Please. Let's see. So I'm gonna explain to you how to connect to God. Probably, most probably, you never connected to God before. You never felt the existence of God, or you never got a tangible proof that God is connecting with you. Most probably, that's 99% of people. If you know how to connect to God and you've got that connection already, then you don't need to watch this video. But I'm doing this video because I want to give you my perspective, and you might also get a lot of benefits out of it. All right? You might get inspired. I got inspired at first. I was I think, in my 30s, mid-30s, let's say. I was in my mid-30s. I went to a healing workshop in New Zealand, spiritual healing workshop. Okay. And we got taught, like I had some spiritual experiences prior to that, but I wanted to learn because I didn't really know much about healing or any of that. Like I didn't know, but I was aware that there is something called spiritual healing and there is something called healing at that time. At that stage, I was aware. I also was aware that I had some paranormal experiences that I couldn't explain that well. So naturally, I wanted to check out what other people are doing, and if I could learn something, then that would be a plus. So I went to a spiritual healing workshop, weekend workshop, like 2.5 days retreat. It was beautiful, as usual. Everybody is a namaste kind of person, and we learned a technique, like let's say a healing technique. You ask the person to stay still, or first you ask permission from the person, like, do you want me to give you a healing session, and so on. So if I am doing this healing on someone, a participant in this class, I would start by saying, do you give me permission to give you healing? And obviously, you, we are, we were there to just learn healing. So obviously the answer was always yes. But then I would say I ask you to stay still for 10 minutes, for example, the whole duration of healing. We can do healing for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Usually 10 minutes is the average, but less than 5 minutes doesn't do much, really. Okay, so there is another story. Like I didn't got the first healing experience at this time. I had before a healing experience with the teacher of that class, because I went to a spiritual fair and the teacher gave me this healing and it was magical. Like it was a clear, tangible energy going through me, and like I was hooked. I felt like this is really something. It's without any doubt. Like I felt first the teacher told me that he's gonna invite a spirit to work on healing my body. And then I said yes, and then I felt like immediately I went into a trance state. I felt something filled up my head in a nice way, like it was a lightheaded, nice way, but it was so clear that it felt incredible. And then I felt this kind of wave energy going through your body, and then it went down to my knee. I had a knee injury back then. It was not painful, but that energy going down to my knee, it started doing things, like it started moving bones and stuff like that, and got a little painful at that stage. And then I said, "Can you stop it? It's getting painful." And he stopped after that. But anyway, uh, it was so clear, so real, that I knew from that time, like that was one of my big experiences, that there is something beyond the spirit world, beyond the physical world. All right, and there is a spiritual world, some kind of a spiritual world, spiritual entities there. So as a consequence, I went and took that weekend workshop, which is about spiritual healing. I'm not gonna give you the exact name, because then of the course, because then you could Google it and you would know exactly who my teacher was. And yeah, I mean, it's better to on we are in the internet, but that internet age, and people could just like misuse personal information. Anyway, that was probably 2005, 2006, most likely. Okay, so here's what happened after that. After that, I went to the workshop, spiritual healing workshop, and we got taught a healing way, that you ask the client to sit still. You put your hand somewhere. You could put your hand there, on top. Well, it doesn't matter, but somehow you lay your hands on the person, especially if there is an area that needs the healing most. So you lay your hands, and you could get the person to be still sitting or still lying in any position. That doesn't matter. What was matter there is to get the person to be still, because any movement obviously was a dissipation of energy, of the spiritual energy, and it could also make the spirit world work less on the person, out of being like more careful, because if they're gonna be working with something very like sensitive, like sometimes they do something really physical, like they move the bones a little bit, or they you can feel it. They change the muscular tension a little bit. So, or sometimes it gets very warm and so on. Okay, so we learned that way of healing, and there was like 7 steps. We ask permission from the person. We get the person to sit still. We lay the hands on the person, and then we invite the spirit healer that is gonna do the healing. So there was a clear and exact. Sorry. It was an exact formula to how you call on the spirit. And also there was an exact name for each spirit we were using. And each person was assigned a spirit healer. So each one of us, students of the healing course, got assigned a spirit healer. And then we also, like, one of the protocols was, or the steps was to ask exactly was to ask exactly what to heal, what to do. Was to ask the spirit what exactly to do. Like, heal my eyes, heal my heart, heal my fears, heal my trauma, something like that. Sorry, I've got a little bit of allergy going on. So that was what we learned in the spiritual healing workshop. Now, later on, I thought to myself, if the spirit can come through someone else doing healing on me, why can't the spirit come without that person, without a healer? So I experimented with that. I asked the spirit to come and heal me without a healer. And it worked. Like, you can feel the energy, you can feel that something is happening immediately once you start asking. And you can ask the spirit to work on your tummy or work on your head, and you feel the difference. Okay, so it wasn't something I were imagining. Okay, so I started developing this kind of technique or way to heal myself without someone helping me access a spirit healer or my spirit healer. All right. Eventually, I refined the healing method to have only 4 steps. The first step is to lie down and relax. Lie down on the back. I found lying down on the back was the most relaxing and most effective way to feel the energy. Like, sitting is still okay. You can do it sitting, but usually sitting, you won't sit still as much, and you won't be relaxed as much as lying down on your back. And then that's the first step. Lie down on your back and relax. The second step is invite the spirit healer to heal something for you, like heal your brain, heal your fear, heal your heart, heal your leg, physical or emotional or whatever you want. Heal your relationship even. Now, if you want something that is gonna be difficult, then you have to allow it more time. And you set the time, like that. You set the timer for 10 minutes or 20 minutes or 30 minutes so that the spirit would know how much time is available to, and how in what way he could work or she could work and something like that. Okay, cool. So after that, that's the second step. The third step is to lie still, and the fourth step is to observe. Observe the energy. You don't need to, like, the fourth step to observe the energy is not very strict. You could be watching TV during this time, but don't move. It's just don't move and relax and don't move. Those are two very important protocols. Okay, and I noticed that this works, and I've been doing it for years and years. Less lately or less in the last few years, but I maybe practiced every day this exercise for about 10 years. Now, for the last 10 years, I do it less, but it's still something very strong. And then I thought to myself, if I want to advertise it or publish it online, since people get scared of spirits and so on, or think that spirits are good and bad, which is nonsense. Spirits are not good and bad. We're not talking about the spirits who were living among us and then they pass away and become spirits. That's not what we're talking about. We are talking about spiritual entities that are like on par with God. Like you can think of them as the agents of God. Okay, the angels, for example, you can call them angels. So since I wanted to just make people not think that I'm using some kind of demonic spirits and something, I call it God. I call it how to connect to God, and then I brand it as a connection exercise or the connection experience experiment. The connection experience or experiment or exercise. Okay. So that's basically how to connect to God. And hopefully you'll try it for yourself and see how great it is. I even gave it to several Reiki masters, like those are like people who work with energy, Reiki energy for very long, and they told me that it was actually very effective and even more effective than the healing Reiki energy they are used to. So it's really good. So don't underestimate it. Try it. There is another video where I explain it maybe in a simple way, and there is my website. You can watch. You can read it on my website with full explanation. All right, it's called the Connection Experiment. So Zonkatron here. Hopefully you got lots of benefits from this video.